and that they had treatments done also. And what I found from them was nothing negative. It was nothing is easy in any of this, but it wasn't negativity as in, real major problems or any reason why you wouldn't want to go or anything like that. It was really all good. They were all let me put it this way. The patients that I talked to were all very happy that they had this treatment done, and they were all happy that they could actually have this alternative or different way of doing things done. And and by the way, so we determined then, this is what I was going to do, and
okay, we'll get a break coming up.
Okay.
We're going to continue. Actually, it's the hour break, and then we're going to get into the next hour, okay?
Okay.
All right. Stay there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, we are back from the break in the second hour, and we have Deborah that has to continue her story. She's got a lot more to come, and so let's go ahead and hear it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I had talked to you, the patients that you had given me to talk to, and everybody was happy. So I felt like it was a good thing to go ahead and come and see you. So, and now, because, of a backlog of patients, I waited 6 weeks before I could get in to see you, which was fine, but just FYI, I called back. You don't even probably know this, but I called back probably 2, 3, 5, or 10 times, hoping to get an appointment earlier. But anyway, it was what it was, and it worked out great. So I did go there to see you in Little Rock facility, and by golly, I was treated with royalty. And I was there for about a month because here's the deal. And I was also, by the way, I was able to see and talk to your other patients with breast cancer that came in and out, those before me, those leaving, and some had actually already had chemo and radiation, and obviously that didn't work. But anyway, they were there and they were having treatments, and it was really neat to be able to hear what they were telling me and how much better that they were feeling having come to you. So now, instead of the usual 3 or 4 treatments, or probably maybe less than that, that you do, I had 22 treatments, because we've got to remember that's a long time in between the 2004 and 2008 time frame. So that was just a lot of treatments, a lot on my body, which wouldn't have had to have been if I, just would have known earlier about you, but I didn't know. And by the way, Dr. Carpenter, you made it a really fun experience, and people need to know you actually threw a party at the end of our treatments, and we had some of your delicious home cooking, and I don't know how you had time to throw that in, but anyway, you did when I left. And,
well, you were there such a long time. You were there such a long time. You were a friend. I wanted to make you feel good.
I was, and it did. I didn't know if you did that all the time. Well, I thought, how in the world did you ever get this done? But it was nice, and I now that I have the time to thank you, I'd like to do that now. I thank you for having done that for me, because it did. It was, it was a long deal, and it was good. So let's see. What do I need to go?
Let me say
here.
Something.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. What she's not saying here is that she didn't have a lot of symptoms or problems. She didn't even, you couldn't even tell that there was really breast cancer there up until probably December or so of 2007, and her left breast started becoming more and more hard. You could feel a big lump in it now. And this accelerated just almost at a scary pace, because by, I don't know, April or May of 2008, her left breast had changed in shape. It was flat. It was purple and red and just looked really, really bad. I was really, really, really scared. And then her right breast, which she hadn't had any problem with at all, had developed a fair size knot in it also. And this was accelerating just so fast that it was getting to be to the point that it was getting real scary. But she never wavered. She never. She just kept looking, kept hoping, kept praying for things that were going to help. And then whenever we did go and have the treatments, unfortunately, I couldn't stay with her the whole time because I had to work. So I stayed with her for a week, and Dr. Carpenter asked me about the motorcycle because I trailered her motorcycle up there so I'd have a way to get back, and she would have a car to go back and forth to the treatment. So, but I rode the motorcycle back home and worked, and she was a trooper. She stayed up there by herself the biggest part of the time, and then whenever she was ready to come home, well, I rode back up there and put it back on the trailer, and we came home. But it was amazing how much it was not really a problem for her. She had some discomfort and some pain and things like that, but she was able to drive herself around. She was able to go shopping and do things she wanted to do. So it was really for what happened. It was really amazing how easy it was. That's the thing that really impressed me.
And that's true. While I was up there, even having the treatments, I was buzzing around and probably, and just really did, I enjoyed myself while I was having the treatments done, even though I had as many treatments as I did on my body, and that was a lot. But I'm so glad that you were there for me. I am so glad that there was this, alternative to things, and I know I've heard a lot of the slander type things going on, but if people, if they don't have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding behind the truth can't set them free. So they have to understand how this works, and to know that it's not a bad thing, it's an awesome thing. And for myself, I'm thankful that we're still living in a democratic world where we do have free choice and free will, and that we are able to choose a treatment like this. I mean, again, God didn't just create one thing and that's all, one highway and that's all you take. It's the same in treatments and therapies for your healing. You should be able to pick that which you think is your right weaponry and go with it. So, and I just think it's just sad that and you're kind of like an underdog coming from a different way of things. Of to say the least. How
to say the least,
are blown out of perspective and put into a place that they shouldn't be. But I think it's that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that other people just need to do a little of that, and I think that they would see that this isn't such a they might like to get on the bandwagon. So by golly, I just say lighten up out there. We can all work together on this thing. And
I know, but the problem is the healing process is so difficult, and you had some time with it, and most people. Yeah, go ahead.
It's been almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She did this in 2008, in September and October of 2008. It's been almost 2 years. She had the left breast was so bad that she had a lot of extrusion, where it's coming to the outside. So her left breast was completely covered in scabs. The size of a grapefruit, and I was afraid, and she was afraid that whenever this stuff actually stopped, that there was not going to be much left there. But her breasts are back. All of that's gone. It's amazing.
It actually has nipples on it. It really does. It's amazing. It's truly, it's an amazing miracle. Yeah, what was up under all that,
Yeah.
But you went through so much, and then because you were having problems, and it was hard breathing because of the pain, you had the fluid in your lungs, and of course, remember they told you had lung cancer, and I said there is no way they can tell. You got so much fluid in your lungs that you can see anything.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
But see, a lot of people.
Because Deborah had pneumonia. She came down with pneumonia back in last year, and we had to go in and get that treated, and she had fluid in her lungs, and they were scaring her, telling her, oh, we need to take those breasts off and everything. Well, the scabs were still on her breasts when this happened, and when she went back for her checkup after she got out of the hospital, well, this was only like 90 days, and all the scabs were gone,
right.
and they actually called the plastic surgeons in, and the head of the oncology department at the hospital came in, and they all just stood there with their mouths open going, this is not the same person. This can't, you can't do this. So now that they finally quit trying to beat her up about it, saying, well, we're just going to, do what she wants to do, and it's crazy because, all they ever want to do is cut, chop, and radiate, and it's not always what you have to do. I'm not going to badmouth the medical community. They do wonderful things.
Yes, they do.
In some
yes,
stuff.
They do.
But then again, they do some awfully horrible stuff too. But it's sad that they can't accept something new. Back before medicine was a money machine.
We got a break coming up. Yeah, we got a break coming up. We continue after.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have Krystal on. Okay. Okay, we are back from the break, and Deborah's still here. So.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to finish up on what I was saying about the my feelings about a lot of this stuff that goes on. Before the medical industry was such a huge money machine, and now there's so many people involved in it that have nothing to do with medicine. It's more money people than anything else. Back in the old days when they discovered penicillin, when they came up with a vaccine for polio and smallpox and all these kinds of things, it didn't take them a whole lot of time to come up with these things whenever it was a problem. The polio thing and stuff, they came up with that fairly quickly compared to the way things are nowadays. I mean, how long has AIDS been here? No one's even come close to doing anything. I don't think anybody's looking for a vaccine or a cure for anything anymore. They're just looking for treatment because there's no money in curing anything. There's no money in preventing it. There's only money in treating it. And I really believe that that's what's driving anything today that puts down people that come up with new ideas that can actually fix a problem. And it's sad that there has to be so many people involved in this stuff that have nothing really to do with helping people or curing people. All they're interested in is how much money they can make off of something, and it's just not right.
No, it's not right.
But unless we stand up and fight, nothing is going to change.
I understand it completely, and the problem is it's like everything else in the world that there's not enough people that are willing to stand up and fight. There's too many people that'll just say, oh, well, they'll come up with a pill one day and I can take a pill. And people, it's not going to happen. Because there's no money in curing you, there's no money in preventing it, there's only money in treating you. And that's what it's all about.
Years ago, when I contacted, and I was in Little Rock, infamous Little Rock, and I contacted the medical school trying to work with them, I mean, it would have taken a year at the most to bring this up. And this was 1988. Okay, so think about all the years that we could have done. Well, when we contact them, they look at it, and they said, we cannot make any money with this.
Exactly.
That was the comment. So it's got nothing to do what it can do to people. Is what can it do to the industry.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's how much money can we make off of anything, and unfortunately, if you can't see that when you go to a hospital nowadays, it's just incredible there's no such thing as a doctor that can look at you anymore and tell you what's wrong with you. You have to go to your, we're on an HMO, so we have what they call a primary doctor. So you have to go to your primary doctor for him to recommend you to a specialist, to another doctor. They can't come, when I was a kid, you went to the doctor and he looked at you and he said, you got this, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. Nowadays they can't do that. And none of them know anything about anything out of their specialty or whatever you call it.